In this video, we are going to talk about anticipation and confirmation. My name is Eduardo Custodio. Welcome to the Wyckoff Academy channel. So here on the chart, we have the S&P 500 on the daily chart. And when I talk about anticipation, I'm talking about this movement here. It would be a gap closing movement, or it could be an order block, which is exactly this movement here in the diary. I'm going to put a line here that I think will make it easier for us to identify. So it would be a line in this region, who is operating and who does it. This operational. So I had already identified this possible movement, this possible region, and was waiting for the market to reach that point. Coincidence or not, I don't know. The market was very close to that region. There, very tight, and then it went up. So this would be the action of movement with the expectation of a fall there. On the price chart, right? At the time of pay, the market would reach this region. So, what we can look at now would be the confirmations for confirmation now. I'm going to show the chart from 1 minute to 60 minutes here so people can identify the region or the best entry point for who didn't want to enter that region there with just the nail in order. So here we have the point at 58, 46, 50, right? 48, 58, 47. Let's put 58, 47. So we have 58, 47. Let's put a line here so we don't. If you lose 58, 47, this region here, then we see that it is really deep down. And how would we work on a confirmation issue? So here on the graph, and we have the WV system, some indicators of the WPV system here on the screen. We have the OVA swing, and we have the fill wick here. Below is the fill weakness, and here above we have the OV swing together here with our OSV color, OSV color. Okay, so there are only 3 indicators, and what we can be, how we can be using them to be able to assist our decision-making in our confirmation. So you already have an important point looking at SMC, looking at gap closing, looking at price action. Right, price levels that also speak. So you had that region that was at 58 and 47, and here you can expect some important confirmations that we have here through the OV swing is precisely our Algot trade. What would be the Algot trade? The Algot trade is either the hashtag or the asterisk. Okay, so they show possible. It is not that it will always reverse, but reversals are possible. So when we have an algo trade in an important region, which was the case then, we keep an eye. Here below we have the accumulated volume, so we have the balance of the positive volume at that moment. It didn't exist yet, but later it will getting positive, confirming the movement is, and here in pink, right? We also have what in pink? We have the negative delta, and in blue we have the positive delta. So here we have the effort versus result. How do we do this? Reading here of the effort versus the result is very simple. It would be the best of both worlds, right? The market would rise with the delta decreasing, regardless of whether it is negative or not, or the delta falling, with the delta decreasing, also being positive or not, which is what we want here. We want 2 things when the delta is negative, even though it is falling, and we release a trade. This is possible to reverse, and at the top it is the same thing. Then I just said we had a positive 494 delta, and here we had an 838 with a strong blue bar. This shows that professional activity in this region means that possibly players were stuck in this region here. Same thing is in the background. So you have a negative delta, then you have negative delta, and now you have positive delta, which means that the market is falling with the plays buying, so he leaves a trade here at the bottom. This gives us more confidence, logically looking at the region so that you can enter. So here this vision is different from this vision. Here we would have to have the delta. Decreasing the delta is decreasing, but when we have an algo trade, it gives us this possibility. Remembering that the asterisk is the volume of the leg more than 4 times, so the volume of the kick 4 more times he gives us our asterisk, and here below in our tic-tac-toe game is the hash. Here is a calculation that we do based on the last 3 kicks to be able to show this information. And a very valuable tip is, what is using algo trade always? Right, or possibly? I will say always, but possibly in favor of the trend is the trend here of Forza weakness, or the trend of Jack if you are using Jack on the screen. But as we had an important region, then it is valid you are also using something in the important region is now when the market is rising without important region only. Because D is doing the algo trade, you have to be a little more careful, okay? If it was in a region here, oh, important, then it makes sense so much that here the market broke, then he drops an algo trade, and then he drops another something trade and something else also something trades accompanied. Right, in the case here there was 1, 2, 3 are excellent for confirming a possible reversal of movement when it is against the trend here. In the case we had 1 and 2 after this break here, so that said here below what we had the delta of 872, 872. Then 675, we had the ALG trade a positive delta. This is good for us, it has a positive delta. The force win starts to become positive and the region is an important region. Market goes up with 75 does men. Delta, 119. Then he comes here and he does 1 delta. This here was an absorption because it falls with the biggest positive delta of the moment, 1128. So this way, you will gain confidence in this rise. But you can't take too long to enter, because otherwise you will lose all the movement. So here you would be waiting for confirmation of movement. Could be catching all that leg there or part of it, okay? It would be a way of getting here in the 1 minute, okay? Now let's change to the 2-minute chart. So here in the 2 minutes we're going to look at the same thing. The information is the same. The region here, we have our algo trade. We also had our algo trade delta minus. Then it confirms here in our force winnies, and here we already have the highest bottom. Also in the force weakness. So the blow here of the volume, it is being absorbed here upwards, and you may be waiting for confirmation, which we say is confirmation, right? When the market goes up here to the green part, and here in 2 minutes, we can already see the positive deltas. So you have delta of 900, of 300, of 900 here at the bottom. So delta is big and the positive background is absorption. The market is here absorbing all this downward movement because before we saw that, it was a lot. Here, look at this here, which is the ideal. We want the negative delta rising with something trade at the top and the market showing. What showing? Strength, weakness. That came to test the pullback of strength. Weakness, so here you could be selling, but the idea is that we are seeing precisely this reversal of the movement. Okay, so we would have seen this reversal here of the movement here above again, and having 2 somethings trades for later. The market comes down here. See the sequence of negative deltas pushing the market down, okay? After that leg there from pull. Let's change the graphic time so we can see, and in the next graphic time, let's put the 5, which is the traditional one, right? 1, 2, 5 in the CCO is also very interesting. We can see, where can we see that before there was a close one there, right? There was a positive delta with some trade. In the background here, the market, when it does the other one, it already marks it, and it's bigger, right? Divergence here. Again, in the market region, leave this candle light pink candles. Where is pink? Clear low volume red. Selling volume and green volume on the buying side is good directional buying, and red is directional selling, but with high volume. When you see this bar here, look at it. A lot of yellow there, almost a yellow, almost the orange yellow. Right, a dark yellow. So you have to be aware that whichever way the market goes, you can follow it. So if you notice, we will see that this one here at this moment, here in All-time charts. This yellow bar appeared here, so there was a lot of professional activity at this time. Remembering that here below the market was already working outside the negative icons, so you could already be suspicious of this rise here. So the market had this delta of 1714, then a delta of 26. It is, and as I said in relation to the volume, which is 4 times greater than the previous volume. The market dropped that algo trade there at the top. Okay, let's go back here now at 5 and stay there because I'm still going to give you another tip so you can see it's a possible entry, okay, for you, okay? Adjusting your entry after you have identified an important region, we call it hidden support or resistance there. A hidden support that you would be waiting for confirmation, so here in the 10 minutes we had a negative delta of 10,344, then a negative delta of 2,461, is making our market hashtag explode upwards, and it makes the pullback here win force pullback, leaving it there again. Our algo trade market falls buying but cannot stop the fall, leaving a negative delta there, selling regions in this region or however you think is best within your operational is 10. Let's play now at 15, and to finish we play at 60. Okay, so here at 15 it's also really nice to see we had a positive delta here of 868 with some trade in the background, okay?
So look how interesting. Negative, negative. Suddenly it leaves a positive delta exactly in the region that you are, waiting for it to be an interface point. So this helps confirm your entry into this movement. This is very interesting. I don't know if I said it. I don't know if you know. We have real-time information. This is very important. Attention here. So here we have the volume is volume.
Here we have the delta, and here we have the percentage variation, because a lot of people operate. Percentage variation, big plays operate. Percentage variation, right? The market see 1%, 2%, 3%. So here you have the real-time percentage variation directly on your screen. Okay, and now, by the way, let's put it at 60. So we can take a look at the fact that we're at 60, and at 60 we can also identify what changes, right? In relation to your graphic times, it's the response time you'll have. So here, at 60, logically this algo trade here was formed only when the market made this second bar here. Okay, it won't appear there after it did the pullback, then it will appear in that region, but it is not. Late, okay, it is, well, it just appears. At the right time, you can adjust it. In relation to the amount of TIC, you can adjust it in relation to the amount of TIC, so here the same thing fell with a negative delta. We don't have much reference, precisely for this reason, the amount of TIC adjusted, and our algo trade at the bottom then here still left an algo trade at the top, and here the market outside the whinies totally. Salesman here in 60 minutes now. An interesting thing that I wanted to bring, if you stayed until the end of the video, is that you improve this adjustment. Okay, so what can you be doing so here? As I said, our WPV system, which is a tool that has these indicators. Here he has more diverse indicators, so here we have a huge range of indicators. There is support resistance. Where are we going to play a support resistance here to see if something appears? And play here changing graphic time play. In CCO here he has support resistance. It has a lot of indicators, some we put in at the request of the users themselves, and some we put in ourselves because we think they're interesting. Some we create, some we improve, and some we put in without changing anything. And one of the most important indicators that I consider for a long time, it's been a long time, this indicator here, what is the anchored app. So we have, in addition to having our own volume profile, both volume profile of region and volume profile of DI. It is also part of our toolkit that you can be also using as hidden resistance support. But that's not what I want to show. I don't want to show you. Where is it like you may be using the Anchored app to help. Let's say you identified that top, you got it there, this is a top. So you're going to adjust it, you're going to put it on high, you're going to give an OK, and you may be entering the pullback of the movement, okay? Enter the pullback of the movement that we call LPS or LPSY. You can be using it this way, so you had the touch. In this region you had 2 ALG trades. Close to the Anchored VAP is with negative delta and here below the confirmations of negative wine strength, so you can use this information to your advantage. Eduardo, but I thought it would go up. Of course, you're also going to put one here. At the bottom, you're going to put your VOP here at the bottom, which is what caused the rise by default. It already comes with HC3, but I like to put it when it's deep, I put it low when it's high. So here there is even a graphic figure of a Wyckoff structure similar to this one here. So here it is at the bottom, taking into consideration and remembering that this is very important. So the market is about to fall. You can still have the first support movement. In fact, that was even more than one. So you had a support movement, 2, 3, 4, until the market broke and lost. So you have to be careful. The greater the confluence, the greater the degree of assertiveness and directional side that you will be, believing that the market will go, right? So if you have more information, the possibility and probability of going up is much greater. But for those who scalp, they were able to work here within this range. Those who bet only on the directional probability then believed here in this fall it's good, and you can be using this in any time. Chart here it's at 2. In fact, here it's at 2. I said it was at 1. Here it's at 2 now that I'm seeing V change to 1. He didn't follow. Let's put it back here. Where is it? Down here we put in 1, and it's the same information, remembering that here in the American market SP 500, and it's worth taking volatility into consideration, right? Each tick is very important and represents a lot of things. So if you have here, it's just these movements here, have the patience to wait. With just this type of movement, you are already very calm and ready to carry out your operations. Here you are. Oh, as I said, default text. There comes a time when it breaks, and you know that at some point there will be a problem because you are defending this position and the market is just pushing it down. So at some point that thing is going to burst. So what do? You may be doing is just trying to find the best point, the best region, the region with the lowest stop, which would be at this top. Then we adjust it. There, high, ready, and here you are, still in the case, as you are already believing in this directional. So you had this sale, and here you can give some space in the expectation that the market does not need to touch it. But you see that it gets very close, so you can work on this region because you have the market directional downwards. Okay, so I hope it was clear. The idea of anticipating the movement, which is when you look at a region and you want the market to reach that region, and then the confirmation that we stop guessing what the market is going to do and start seeing what it is really doing in real time. And from this condition, you, Tom, make your decision. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will go wrong, but as I said, if you are in charge, you have upward directional confluences. The greater chance that the market will fall against the trend is always an imminent problem. In that case there, you had a daily chart, right? And the market moves in waves. There is no way. So you had a daily chart with an important region, and you waited. You would have waited for the region to be able to buy in the same way you could have sold. And when the market made the first downward movement, and waited for the pullback. To be able to sell the continuation of the movement of the fall, that would be the LPSY. Okay, so that's it. I hope you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, share it with a friend if you want to. Know more about the platform, about the WV system software. Link in the comments and in the video description. Thanks a lot.